And here's the last in our series of our videos. This is one that, if you perfect it, when you perfect it, turns out really nice. And this is one that, you know, we're still doing our 1.5 ounce rolls, but this is one you could do with a 5 ounce roll, 12 ounce roll, 20 ounce roll, and they'll all look really cool. And it's based on the same concept of doing a single braid. When we get into doing some more lows, we'll do a triple braid, and that's the triple braid is our standard when we're doing the hollow braid. So as usual, we're rolling them out. First one we rolled out was about 7 inches. The next two were about 9 inches. This one you need a good length. So we're talking 10 to 12 inches. And with this one, if you don't have enough of a roll, if you don't have enough of a length, then the next one, you know, roll it out a little bit longer. So this is one, a little trial and error, but as you go through and make it, once you get the technique down of the single braid, you're gonna go, I like this one. And like I said, it does work well with larger loaves too, which is cool, because if you don't feel like doing the triple braid with 3 pieces, you can take one long strand and do a braid, and it looks nice. So if it's a time constraint also, and you're like, okay, I don't have time to measure out 3 pieces of dough, instead of doing 3 pieces of dough that may be 4 ounces each, you could do a 12 ounce piece of raw dough, roll it all the way up, and you're good to go. So this one we do after the figure 8, because this is just a variation of the figure 8. So the whole beginning concept is the same as the figure 8. So again, we got 2 fingers, our thumb, but this one, actually I'll use 3 fingers. You want a larger gap there. So what you're gonna do, come around, do it just, yeah, I don't have enough length. Okay, so like I said, if you'll know right away if you need it longer. So again, 2 fingers, wrap around. You're going to go through the hole like we did with the figure 8. You're going to turn this into where the dough is on this side, and then we just continue going through. And we got a nice little braid. If you wanted to do it even longer and you had, you know, more dough, it's a little harder to do it longer with a 1.5 ounce piece. But if you had like a, you know, 12 ounce dough, you could do the same thing. You would just keep going through, but the next one you would turn the opposite direction. I don't want to confuse you with that. We're going to stick with our braided knot. So this one was a little thicker on the end, same thing. Keep that consistency throughout. So you're going to come around the knob on the top, push it through like we did for the figure 8, turn this into where your end piece is, and tuck your end piece in. And make sure you tuck it all the way through, and if you look, looks pretty consistent. The better your dough is widthwise throughout the whole thing, the better off you're going to be. So I'll do 3 more, because this one's a little bit difficult. If you do get the figure 8 down, most of the time people struggle with the figure 8. They get the figure 8 down. This one becomes a lot easier, because all you're doing is just one extra turn. So keep a wider, you know, you want to have about 2 inches on the hole there. So you're going to wrap around that top, come through, do the first part of the figure 8, where you have the piece that's left. We're going to turn it into your knob and tuck through. And that one turned out real nice. Oh, I have a question from the audience. Yes, sir.
When you turn and twist the bottom, are you stretching it out a little bit, or are you just twisting it and pushing through?
That's an excellent question, and I didn't even prompt him with that one. So when I do this last one, I'll explain what we're doing. So we're going around, coming through, and you don't want to, you just want to twist it. So if you have to pull it, and this was actually a perfect one for that because it wasn't long enough. So make sure when you're rolling it out, you have the proper length, right? So we're going to go around, again, just a little bit of the knob sticking out so you don't have a big hanging piece of bread hanging off the end. Come through like the figure 8 and you're just twisting. And then it's pulling through. So I have had students that didn't have it long enough and they pulled the bread and stretched it. What happens is when you proof it, the knot either comes undone or you might get a breakage. It just doesn't look as consistent because instead of having it rolled out properly in the beginning, you're trying to pull and stretch it and it doesn't look as good when you're done. So with that question, I think that ties up our braid, and then we're going to move on to different stuff in the next series.